Ramesses II was history's ultimate ego-driven pharaoh. He carved his own image onto every single monument. He survived a deadly military ambush through pure aggression. He fathered over 100 royal children during his reign. He declared himself a living god while still breathing. He signed the world's very first international peace treaty. He built the most colossal temples Egypt had ever seen. His massive golden empire outlasted all his great rivals. Today, his preserved body still commands absolute historical awe. This is the epic chronicle of his power. The legendary ruler was born around the year 1303 BCE during the powerful 19th dynasty of ancient Egypt. His grandfather was a non-royal general who successfully seized the throne to establish a new military lineage. Young Ramesses was appointed as a royal prince regent by his legendary father, Seti I, at just 14 years old. He accompanied his father on dangerous military campaigns to learn the brutal art of chariot warfare firsthand. He quickly realized that a pharaoh needed to project absolute strength to keep his empire completely unified and safe. He ascended the throne in his early 20s and immediately began planning massive construction projects along the Nile. He ordered his royal sculptors to deeply carve his name into stone walls so future kings could never erase it. He successfully defeated a terrifying wave of Dead Sea pirates who were raiding valuable Egyptian trade ships. He captured the fierce pirates and strategically drafted them into his own personal elite bodyguard unit. If you love these massive tales of absolute ancient power, please like this video right now. Ramesses decided to launch a massive military campaign to reclaim the strategic northern territories of Kadesh. The powerful Hittite empire stood in his way with an army of thousands of heavy battle chariots. As he marched toward the city, his scouts captured 2 local nomadic spies wandering through the desert. The spies falsely told the pharaoh that the main Hittite army was hundreds of miles away from Kadesh. Ramesses completely believed the false report and rapidly raced ahead with only a single division of his army. The hidden Hittite army suddenly launched a massive surprise ambush against the vulnerable Egyptian camp. The terrified Egyptian soldiers panicked and fled in absolute chaos, leaving their young pharaoh completely surrounded. Ramesses bravely leaped onto his golden war chariot and charged directly into the massive wall of enemy soldiers. He single-handedly held off the enemy forces by firing his composite bow with incredible speed and deadly accuracy. His elite reinforcements arrived just in time to rescue the pharaoh and push back the stunned Hittite forces. He heavily promoted this narrow escape as a supreme divine victory on every temple wall in Egypt. The brutal war dragged on for over a decade until both empires realized they could never fully destroy each other. Ramesses and the Hittite king officially signed the world's first recorded international peace treaty to end the bloodshed. The historic treaty was uniquely engraved onto magnificent silver plaques and contained non-aggression pacts for future generations. To seal the new peace, Ramesses married the oldest daughter of the Hittite king in a massive royal celebration. Make sure to subscribe to Stickman Chronicles because we drop epic history content every single day. Ramesses spent the rest of his long reign building the most breathtaking monuments in ancient history. He constructed the magnificent temple of Abu Simbel directly out of the side of a massive sandstone mountain. The temple entrance featured 4 colossal statues of himself sitting proudly on his imperial throne. The temple was engineered so perfectly that the morning sun illuminated his eternal statue twice a year. He also built a massive mortuary temple complex called the Ramesseum to celebrate his eternal memory. He erected hundreds of towering obelisks across the country to proclaim his victories to the heavens. He legally established a massive new imperial capital city in the Delta region named Ramesses. The city was a thriving military stronghold filled with grand palaces, weapon factories, and massive chariot stables. He outlived his original joys and married multiple foreign princesses to maintain his vast international alliances. His principal royal wife was the beautiful Queen Nefertari, whom he adored above all other women. He built a stunning, highly decorated temple for Nefertari right next to his own massive complex at Abu Simbel. He fathered roughly 100 sons and daughters, creating a massive royal dynasty that ruled for generations. He outlived his own first 12 sons because he managed to survive well into his 90s. He regularly celebrated the complex Sed festival, a ritual designed to mystically renew the pharaoh's physical strength. During these festivals, the elderly king had to run around a public course to prove his ongoing vitality. He became so ancient that his subjects genuinely believed he was an immortal being who would never die. He successfully managed the state's vast wealth, ensuring that the common peasants always had plenty of food. He expanded Egypt's valuable gold mining operations in the hot southern desert of Nubia to fund his state. He treated his loyal priests with great respect, but always maintained absolute control over the temple wealth. He spent his entire adulthood demonstrating that a king could reshape the physical landscape of an entire nation. He regularly sent massive trading expeditions deep into Africa to bring back exotic goods and valuable ivory. He viewed the entire Nile Valley as his personal canvas rather than limiting himself to traditional cities. He spent hours reviewing complex architectural blueprints because he demanded absolute perfection in his stone monuments. He openly laughed at past pharaohs who built small tombs, claiming his legacy would endure until the end of time. He established strategic military garrisons throughout Canaan to firmly secure his northern trading borders from sudden raids. He heavily fortified the western borders of the Delta to keep out encroaching Libyan tribal invaders permanently. He expanded the massive hypostyle hall at Karnak, filling it with a forest of giant, deeply carved pillars. He routinely defaced the monuments of previous dynasties to replace their names with his own bold royal cartouche. He claimed personal responsibility for bringing prosperity and stabilizing the celestial cosmic order known as Ma'at to Egypt. He massive resource operations required tens of thousands of workers, whom he paid in generous rations of bread and beer. He was a master of psychological warfare, making sure every foreign diplomat walked past giant statues of his likeness. He routinely wore the heavy double crown of Upper and Lower Egypt to emphasize his absolute authority over both lands. He created specialized elite units within his army that were uniquely trained for siege warfare against walled cities. He effectively controlled the vital Mediterranean trade routes, generating immense customs wealth for his grand imperial treasury. He took great pride in his physical appearance, using fine oils and unique cosmetics to maintain his royal presentation. He regularly consulted with a private inner circle of brilliant high priests and stargazers to plan his building dates. He ordered his scribes to write detailed poetic epics about his individual combat bravery during the Battle of Kadesh. He built a massive navy of specialized warships to guard the strategic mouths of the wide Nile River. He routinely gifted massive amounts of gold to the temples of Ammonius to ensure divine political support from the priesthood. He sent royal mining expeditions deep into the Sinai Peninsula to extract massive quantities of valuable turquoise and copper. He was the first pharaoh to successfully integrate foreign mercenaries on a massive scale directly into his royal army. He created a highly efficient network of regional governors who reported directly to his grand palace every month. He transformed Egypt into the dominant superpower of the late Bronze Age through pure administrative and military willpower. He was so deeply revered that later pharaohs proudly took the name Ramesses just to associate with his greatness. He lived well into his twilight years while suffering from severe arthritis and a terrible dental infection. He finally passed away peacefully at the age of 96 after ruling over Egypt for 66 incredible years. His death plunged the entire ancient world into deep mourning because nobody could remember a time without him. His royal priests meticulously mummified his physical body over a period of 70 days using sacred oils. They buried him inside a massive, treasure-filled tomb located deep within the famous Valley of the Kings. His magnificent tomb was completely plundered by desperate grave robbers just a few centuries after his death. To protect his sacred body, loyal priests secretly moved his mummy to a hidden cliffside cache at Deir el-Bahari. The hidden cache remained completely undisturbed for nearly 3,000 years until modern archaeologists found it. When his mummy was uncovered, scientists discovered that the great pharaoh had natural red hair and a prominent nose. In the 20th century, his mummy was flown to Paris because it required urgent treatment to stop fungal decay. The French government uniquely issued the ancient dead king an official Egyptian passport for the international flight. His body was received with full military honors, proving that his royal legacy still commanded global respect. He left behind a colossal empire that represented the absolute golden age of ancient Egyptian civilization. His incredible life inspired countless legends, including the famous Western poem known as Ozymandias. Today, his giant statues stand in massive museums around the world, drawing millions of curious visitors. He successfully rose above the achievements of his ancestors to become the most famous pharaoh in history. He proved to the world that a king could achieve true immortality through monumental architecture and military propaganda. His unique building style heavily influenced Egyptian art and stone engineering tactics for hundreds of years. He spent his entire adulthood working tirelessly to expand the borders and the glory of his sacred homeland. The master ruler left behind an eternal legacy of unmatched building majesty and supreme royal authority. He successfully balanced the complex politics of the ancient Near East, using his immense wealth and military might. His life remains history's greatest example of ultimate pharaonic power maintained through absolute confidence. From his quiet youth as a prince regent to his final breath in his grand capital, he was unmatched. He redefined the boundaries of psychological propaganda and imperial administration for generations to come. His complex architectural achievements are still studied by modern engineers and historians around the globe today. He remains an immortal icon of majesty who chose absolute grandeur over simplicity at every single turn. The world will likely never see another ruler quite like the great Pharaoh of Egypt. His memory continues to inspire millions of people through books, television documentaries, and movies. He began his life as a young prince and ended it as a living god of ancient history. His monuments remind us that true power leaves a permanent mark upon the very face of the earth. Smash that like button if you were blown away by this ancient ego-driven pharaoh. Subscribe to Stickman Chronicles right now to join our growing community of history lovers. We upload brand new history videos every single day, so you never miss an epic tale. Leave a comment below letting us know which historical figure we should cover in our next video. Thank you so much for watching this deep dive into ancient power. See you tomorrow for another wild story on Stickman Chronicles.